Hello, everyone. It's Bruce Profits back with another trading day. Took some time off stream, about 3 days. Friday, I took a loss. Monday, I didn't trade. Tuesday, I won. We're coming into today. My accounts are all being logged in right now. I'm having a little bit of internet issues. I had to use Wi-Fi the instead of the Ethernet cord, so there may be a slight delay in the stream. Not sure, but currently we're looking at price. Like I said, it's a Wednesday, right? If we remove all the drawings, we of course are going to leave the A trade level is based, B trade levels. A trade is level based, B trade is macro based, C trade is just price action, don't take. Consolidation day is reversal A setups, trending day is continuation Bs. So what we have here is a potential trending day because we had this accumulation, we manipulate, maybe we'll distribute down, but at the very least, if we look at the level interaction really quickly, right, we can see as far as like levels, if you traded after 9:30, all right, I'm gonna put the 9:30 line in there so that way we can see where 9:30 is. Nine 30. Okay, so it's at the top of the shit. Let me put it in the middle. Okay, so this is a 9:30 line, right? So anything after that, that's where we should have been able to find a trade potentially after that 9:30 line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make that smaller. Right, so that's a 9:30 line. So what happened is we purged the it looks like pre-market lows, right? Zoom in. The price is shooting up, but we just got to observe what happened first. So this is the pre-market lows. This is pre-market lows right here. So pre-market lows got purged. Pre-market lows purged. Uh, so the pre-market lows purged, right? Then now, after all, because it had an 8:30 buy right here, right? Hit the 8:30 line, bought up, right? Shot up to this London high, sold at London high. So it's A setup. A could buy off this A, right? Retest that for A setup, sell. B setup, sell. A setup, sell. A setup, because 8:30 sell. 8:30 setup, sell, right? Come back, perfect fair value gap, perfect breaker. So if you're using straight price action, got the perfect breaker right here. You got the perfect fair value gap right here. It just depends what you're looking for. All right, so that's just some concepts, right? As well, what we have is 8:30 open right here. So that would have made this a potential A setup right here, right? Then we have midnight open here for A setup. And then we shot past this. If you had a buy stop, it could have been an A. So what am I looking for? Well, potential trades I'm looking for are going to be, if we're trending, a macro B trade. So maybe like buy off here, right? Because that's the midpoint of this macro, or a buy off the low of the macro, which happens to be 8:30. So we're gonna have to just let time play out today. We may not have a quick or fast trade based on us not being here before right after 9:30, so that we could take advantage of this, because this has a lot of setups in it. Even just the short-term sells from 8:30, if we were a short-term seller, could have almost had the 5 points. Technically could have had the 5 points. So we're here a little bit after 10, analyzing the market. So today may end up being a no trade day if we don't get a setup that's presented, and that's okay. But essentially, I kind of labeled what we're looking at already. We've already had a sweep of some lows, market structure shift, back to the fair value gap breaker, CSID if you want to call that right here. We can call that CSID, change in state of delivery. CSD, change in state of delivery, which is just really an order block. But change in state of delivery, retested, fair value gap retested, breaker retested to go up, right? So there's a potential for us to go down in my mind, but yesterday was a selling day. So I don't want to force any sells today. I think I may want to get in alignment with the bias. Let me double check some other trading pairs right now. So YM is at London low for a potential sell, or midnight open for a potential sell. And then the other ones are way above. MNQ and ES are way above current or price action from the morning. So let's look at the higher time frame perspective just to kind of make sure that we're keeping everything in alignment. So if you looked at the 4 hour, right, still have some shit from last week that I didn't get hit or that I got mad about or whatever, but this fair value gap right here, this big fair value gap, potentially been invalidated to go up. So instead of it being a fair value gap to sell, it's now an inverse gap to potentially buy off the 4 hour, right? If we adjusted it down to the 1 hour, now we've got this gap right here that was used to accumulate and then send price up. If you wanted to measure this gap here, we're currently in it. Um, it looks like we're already at the 50% of the gap. Put the level on there so you can see. That's the 50% of that gap, right? So it looks like we're going bullish there for sure. And then let's just look at the previous day range so we can kind of hypothesize. So if we do previous day low to previous day high, right? What happened was, right? Price was below the 50% level. So anything below that is a discount. That's a good area to buy, right? So all this price action below here was a good sign to buy. And then, as if you notice, as it crossed 50%, it started acting aggressive to shoot up. So all those buys were um, taken by traders and sent price up. They tried to sweep the low right here so that anybody in pre-market buys could get taken. Right. So price is shooting up. May have missed the potential entry, and that's fine. Got to know exactly what we're looking for every day. Can't be too aggressive. Not when we have a model that works very well. But just to break things down, I wouldn't be looking for a buy unless we got under the 50% level again, which might not happen. Um, so I'm just gonna relax. And also, I wouldn't be looking for a buy if we didn't have a good macro reversal. So this area may become a good level because if price does decide to return to this level, we've got a fair value gap here. We've got a fair value gap here, right? We've got some fair value gaps that are untested, and then here we have a value gap that was tested, right? So I'm not going to even draw it on there, but essentially we have a good reason. So look, we could sell above this macro. There's no level there, so it wouldn't be an A, it would be a B. Um, and again, that wouldn't be in a continuation trade. That would be more of a reversal trade. So taking the macro as a reversal, I don't think I'm gonna do that for now, but that could be the trade, B macro sell. Considering we just swept the open of yesterday, not the previous day high, but the open. So we swept the open. We're in that higher side for value gap. Price could still shoot up, right? You see how it's respecting that macro kind of, right? But if I'm gonna be catching buys, I want it from 50% or the low at this time. Just because we're so early, I don't think I should settle for a macro high buy at this time if I was gonna take a buy there. But looking around, it looks like we may be stalling out. If you go look at MNQ, we've hit the highest order block on the 1 hour time frame. MNQ right here. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So we hit the. We're kind of rejecting. We hit the. We didn't hit the previous day's high, but we hit 10 minute. We hit some important candles on the 1 hour. May not even matter, but so let's see. MNQ, a similar story. We bought below the 50% level, shot above it. Now potentially you could be doing sells to get back below into a discount. The reason for the trade, it could be a few. Especially because MYM looks like it's confused. Sorry, trying to fix this screen real quick. So MES, go to the 1 minute. I think a short here would make sense, but that's not actually in my trade plan to short the macro. It's supposed to be a continuation trade, so unfortunately, I think I may have to leave it alone because that's just part of the trading plan. If I don't have that labeled as a trade, like it's a macro based trade. Let's see. Erase most of this stuff. All right. We're looking at price objectively with our setup, with our trade set up above us. Previous day high hasn't been reached yet, but we have reacted off of below the 50% level in a sense. We're struggling on that macro, so maybe we are selling. Let's see. You got to be patient. It may melt, but I gotta just stick to my models, which is if it's a macro, I should be looking for continuation trades. So there's no reason for me to force the sell at the macro high. It could sell off, but there's no reason to force it because there will be a setup that's if this is not clean, then there'll be a setup that is cleaner. MNQ looks like it's gonna go bearish. What does YM look like? YM looks like it's gonna go bearish. Probably should sell this as an inverse gap, but it could be a fair value gap just sending price up. That's why I don't like it. There's a volume imbalance there too. Hmm. If it just melts, that'll be an interesting study point, but I can't say that reversal macros are in my playbook. So I gotta kind of just trade what's in my playbook. Um, it may melt, but I have to study that macro and see what I can learn about reversal macros because I'm looking for continuation macros. So I'll just stay out of that. I'm aware of it. I understand it, but I need to stay out of it. Fortunately, but unfortunately, I need to stay out of it just to manage risk properly, really give myself a better chance at having a great level that protects the trade. So I'm gonna stay out of that trade for now. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go make some coffee and I'm just gonna mute the stream for a little bit and I'll come back because to me, I think something else has to go on before I get involved with this. Um, I may have missed the boat by not being here to enter at 950 something. So that might be it for me. I don't want to push it despite the fact that we may melt. I kind of need a better situation to feel comfortable taking the trade. Right. So I'll just go get some coffee and then I'll come back. Let's see, I didn't leave yet. I'm trying to look at some comments to see if my stream has comments. Let me see this real quick. I can't see the comments. But yeah, there's no comments.
See,
All right, cool. We're chilling.
I didn't leave yet.
I'm trying to look at some comments to see if my stream has comments.
See this
Maybe a good sell because we hit the inverse gap on a retest for a potential sell. But other than that,
can't see the comments.
get the macro high.
All right, cool. We're chilling.
Nothing that'll convince me just to take that. May melt off still, but probability is telling me just stay out of that. But price isn't a premium. We swept a macro high, so there's a potential for reversal. It's just my setups are supposed to be reversal level based and then continuation macro based. So I'm just kind of not really. So I'm not a big fan of this setup, to be quite honest with you. Once it melts off, I can say, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. But you saw here where I'm not really interested as much as I should be. You know what I'm saying, like, it does have price action. It has volume imbalance. It has the inverse gap here. It has a fair value gap right here. So a balanced price range with a volume imbalance. Yeah, I can see why if you took a short, you targeted 5 points, you could potentially get that. I could see that, but it's not really my A setup. And my B setup is macro based, but I kind of like the continuation based macro trades. I haven't mastered the reversal based macro trades yet, so my ego doesn't force me to have to take this. But let's see if it gives the 5 points, and probably will because there's hella liquidity to possibly target here. All right, it's a fair value gap right down here, so I could target back this fair value gap. It doesn't have to, it could. And the only confirmation really would this be SMT high or SMT the high, like basically what happened was YM looked like it was basically selling off midnight open, and then MNQ it turned around at a macro, and then ES it also turned around at the macro. So that could have been a potential 5 point winner right there. But again, that's not really my setup. I'm more of a continuation macro based trader. So if we get to this level here and down here, based on the macro, that would be areas I would buy. We might not even get that low if we reject right out that fair value gap. There's two fair value gaps. There's multiple, so it's not really like it has to just choose one. But as far as let's just go on 15-minute, or as a 15-minute goes, right? There's a potential that this candle closes and then we have a gap that we dip into, right? And that will add to the conviction of taking it from the macro base level, which would have been macro buys here or down here. So let's see if we can get to here, which will give us a good opportunity to buy it up, considering that we should be bullish on the day. And just to confirm, I'm gonna mark off the previous day low to previous day high 50% level so that I know where that is. So that's down here. So we may go below that before we buy up. Let's see. Might as well just put a big line on there. Horizontal line. I put PD 50%. So previous day 50% level was down here. So buys should be we should be looking for buys under here, in a sense. So this trade is retracing this little sell trade that occurred. And I honestly am not sure if that means we're going to sell back from this gap down, or we're going to take the highs and find support and start shooting up. Either one can happen. Ideally, I would want to buy below these levels over here, but we could just be selling down to them. If I look at MNQ, we're at a macro 50% level on MNQ, so or we reversed off it really quickly. On MES, we didn't even get there yet. On MYM, it looks like we're closing bullish above midnight open on MYM, so I don't know if that's just a lower high that it's gonna, drop lower, but it looks a little bullish over there. ES, MNQ both had a heavy wick on that last candle. We continue to fill up, so just be patient. Yeah, let me go make the coffee and come back.
Connection. Connection lost. Connection. Connection lost. Connection lost. Connection lost. Connection lost.
I had the coffee heating up, but I think that I may just end the stream and come back later. I'm having connection issues. I'm not sure why, so I want to fix those. Um, it just seems as if like my computer's kind of acting up. So, because my Ethernet cord wasn't working before, and then now I'm on the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi seems a little iffy. And then the pictures behind my screen just started falling. Like I don't know what's going on, but I think it might be in my best interest to sign off, depending on if we don't have an immediate level of interaction anytime soon. And it doesn't look like we're having one, so may just be time to walk away. Right now, I'm not. If a trade did pop up, I'm not even ready to take it with every account, which is problematic. Okay, now I would be ready, but something funny is going on where a connection's being lost. I'm not sure what's going on. So that little bearish trade worked, and then we didn't even get back to this fair value gap. Came back to this macro high to possibly buy up for 5 points the other direction. That could have been a macro buy potentially. Potentially, potentially, potentially. Uh, So today would have really paid to show up earlier. I think what I'll do is I will come back after lunch potentially, because what I'm seeing here is that we may just be heading the previous day's high, and I didn't take that macro buy, so I may just leave it. I come back. Market's overall bullish, obviously. Right, we haven't retested the London low. We retested London 50%. We're going towards previous day's high. We didn't touch previous day's low today, so we just started within yesterday's range and we're potentially seeking the highs. So it should be a continuation day. It should be a day where we can use a macro to get in on a buy potentially. But as well, if you look at price action, like right here, sorry. If you look at price action like right, this is some slight equal lows we could take, but we don't have to because technically this equal low, I mean this ran these equal lows, so we don't have to, but it could be an equal low we're gonna take. Again, we don't have a level up here. It would only be based off of macro or SMT. I'm not really liking the. Today's a day where early bird caught the worm. Wasn't early, so sitting here, no worm. Let's look at the news releases just to make sure. Forex Factory. So we have we have a yellow at 11. Yeah, 2 p.m. red. How about this? Another potential buy. We hit the macro. We've got this volume imbalance. We've got all these levels. Is this another potential buy? Wait, let me undo what I just did. I want to keep certain stuff. Lock this. Lock that. So the reason for the buys this time, if it works, which I didn't take it, but this would be a macro buy for 5 points based on the macro high, support, buy up, right? Potentially. But I'm a stickler for buying at a discount, I guess. So, mentally I prefer to buy down here, but technically if you measure this low to this high, or if you measure it without the wick, measure like this low down here. Someone could argue, oh, it's in a discount relative to that low. You could have bought it. Yeah, kind of true. It's true. This is the discount is at 50% level. So this buy could work and shoot up. But I'm not going to bet the farm on a macro continuation trade when it looks like we're chopping a little bit. Let me go check on the coffee and I'll come back. But it's gotta have patience. The sell off the macro would have worked. Looks like the buy off the macro may have worked. And you would just have to have a limit order, quick market order. It's up to you how you want to do it. But this is macro based, so the sell I wouldn't really advertise as much as the buys potentially, because you want to have a continuation buy. Doesn't mean we might not melt and this be trade being correct, but probability says if we're just trending, we've been bullish. Higher low, higher low, higher lows, equal lows, higher lows, higher lows. All right, we've been bullish. Maybe this is a higher low to go up. It could be an equal low that we target, but like I said, we're kind of in a chop. So I'm gonna go get the coffee and come back.
Connection lost. Connection lost.